Hello everyone, good afternoon. And today we will discuss the first language acquisition or FLA and literacy development. The concept of this topic is how children acquire the language. uh, How children acquire the language. So in this lesson, we shall define first language, the mother tongue, heritage language, and the dialect. And to further explain how children acquire a language and the process involved in their literacy development. So there are theories, no, nga itong mahisgutan din of how children acquire the language. So the concept of this lesson is the argument is language is not biological. So therefore there are factors that um, affect the language development of a child. No, children will eventually acquire the language they are first exposed to in their families, especially from their primary caregiver. So we ask the question is who is the primary caregiver? Parents, no? Parents or the mother herself. It's because the mother is the mawjud ang uh, closed, no? Or the close contact of the child. So natay term din hiya na motherist, no? The motherist describes the language adaptation. The term motherist describes the language adaptation adults make, but not necessarily, no, the parents, because there are parents who prefer to take care of their children, no, by other people. Magyaya, no, daghan kayo magyaya para lang because of work, no. That is why the question who is the primary caregiver is nakadepende, nakadepende, no. Depende siya sa context, sa situation or sa status sa parent style, no? Parenting style. So the utterance natin mga adaptations that the utterance are considerably simplified grammar and meaning. And there are several features whose purpose seems to be clarified. Extra information is provided. Sa utterance, kung nakabantay ta, uh, ato ang ginasimplified ang ato ang pagsulti sa bata, no, pero dili English, no. So napoy parents na English ang ginagamit sa mga bata, no, sa ilahang first stage of learning the language. But usually kung sa mother tongue nato, kung Bisaya Bisaya, Mandaya Mandaya, inana. So unsa ang simplification? When simplification happen, now if you observe, we try to shorten words. We shorten words. Word na lang gani ang uban para ma-understand sa bata. Now, you want to drink water, water, water. Gusto ka water, tubig, tubig na lang. Yan, no? Na simplification nga nahitabo. Na ang sa meaning ug sa grammar. No? In here, there are several features. Purpose seems to be clarified. Why? Because it may be, for instance, a child does not understand what you mean. That is why you provide extra information. No? Extra information. Say for example, mag, sa mga word nga maglisod sila og understand ang bata. For example, you draw a cat baka kung dili siya kasi kabalo sa cat, you try to portray the picture of a cat and then sundugon or dito pag i-trace pa gani na i-trace na tapos sa mga drawing book i-trace. You provide extra information para masabtan niya unsa day ni ang cat, no? Una iyahang abot pasabot. And there is an expressive or affective element in Madurist use of special words or sound. The duplicative words like we na duplication, pipi, uh, mama, papa are common. Now, what is this expressive or affective element? Kining um, we we try to parents, no? Parents try to express kan bitaw na say dala nga affection para masabtan sa bata ang buot pasabot, no? Nay affection. I don't how can I explain that, but nay affection nga imuhang magsulti ka whenever you converse or communicate to a child. Nay affection. Dili siya ingon nga um naay force, naay lambing, kunting lambing sa bata, no? That is why teachers kung magtudlo sa mga bata elementary grades, it does not necessarily to para makasabot ang bata ato siyang i-force singkahan, so pa manghasmag pa baka and we feel like a terrorist to them because that is not learning, no? It's very hard to in the context of learning nga ato ang gina-terrorize, no? Ato ang ginasengkahan. It's not the way it is. It must be effective, no? Expressive, no? Kaning may there is man good na concept is um, applicable whenever we teach our young ones, no? Labi na kung elementary kay diha nga part ang pinaka-challenging. And elementary years are years of foundation. These are the years nga ang children, ang bata, na siya ay strong foundation. So words, baka sa meaning, concept, nana. Because without this foundation, nga elementary, dili matarong katudlo sa teacher, luoy ang bata pag abot sa higher years na, higher level na niya. Tingala ka nga, di man ni siya kabalo mo ihap. So if you were a teacher sa higher years, maybe you might be asking questions like what happened to the previous years of this child. Unsay nahitabo di sa iyahang anong ingin-ani man ang iyahang learning. Maglisod siya og sabot or nana. So we try to assess now, no, what happened. Pwede dito ta sa grassroots, dito sa family, unsa iyang family basta wala nagikaon ng bataa. So, lisod na siya og kaon kay wala ikapakaon or wala jud walang-wala ang parents. So, what is now your job? It's a challenge now, no? Kung unsaon. That is why be effective. We try to express to our emotion to communicate sa mga bata aron makasabot sila. Now that is why sa health good no kay very important ang breakfast no. Ang breakfast kay sa breakfast man good mao na siya ang mahatag og kusog nimo sa tibuok adlaw na. Murag siya ang kuan sa kuan ba? Tibuok adlaw nimo nga kuan sa bata, no? Bisag sa mga dagko na gani. Wasi kasabot bisag wasi pamahaw. Yan na. So dili ta ingon nga masuko ta dayon unsa man bata bulok. No. Your concept is different now. So dapat imong perspective is you change your perspective, you change your concept, your style of teaching aron na mas masabtan sa bata nga dili siya ingon nga na force na siya. So mo na siya ang implication of this theory. So what is a first language? No? The language first acquired as a child like mother tongue and native tongue or preferred language in a multilingual situation. When we understand the first language as your mother tongue, unsa ang imong inyong ginaistorya diya sa sulod sa panimalay. So that is your first acquired language. It is your first language. Kung nakabalo na kasunod English, second language ito nimo or Filipino, mag third na to siya. Kung English speaking mo da sulod, first language nimo na siya, that is your native tongue. That's why we cannot blame Mandaya, say for example, or Bisaya who try to speak, but it's hard to speak fluently in English because of his or her mother tongue. The mother tongue is lisod kay siya i-twist into a foreign tongue to become fluent in speaking, no? That's why dito mangantsaw nga ay wa na ni nagkalimao ang iyang pronunciation. No, because from very first start of learning the language, a child has a mother tongue or a native tongue. And that mother tongue, that is the mother tongue, that's the language he used to speak, he used to communicate the family, say for example. And from the family the, to a broader society, school, church, na din na sa interaction niya sa mga friends, social interaction. So, dili mangantsaw because it's part of our biological. That's biological now. Isa imuha ng imuhang tawag ani dila ano the physical sa imuhang dila na physical na siyang factor. So what is the second language? A non-native. So ikaduha na gid siya kay di man non-native naman language that has an official rule in a country. In the Philippines, English and Filipino are the two official languages of commerce and industry. So we can consider these languages, both languages are the language of commerce and industry. No? Dapat siya ang second language. What is a foreign language? A non-native Diapon language that has no official status uh, of the country. In here, Spanish used to be official status and used to be the second language in the Philippines in 60s and 90s but lost official status and become a foreign language. Nawala siya. No? After na ni sa colonization, post-colonialism, nawala na ang Spanish. This means that Spanish is no longer officially spoken in the country, nor mandated to be taught in elementary and secondary schools, just like French, German, no? Unlike ang English, ginatudlo siya sa tuwa. Filipino, English, that's the non-native niya natin, non-native. Ang Filipino, kung Bisaya ka, it's still non-native, no? It's not your mother tongue kung Bisaya ka, Mandaya ka. But if you're living in or Manila ba ka, taga dito ka, so that becomes your native. It's not your foreign language. It's English now, your foreign language. So, ingon iya na ang foreign language. What is heritage language? A heritage language is the minority language, either immigrant or migrant or indigenous, learned by its speakers at home Japan, as children, but never fully developed because of insufficient input from the social environment. Meaning, nawala ra Japon siya kay insufficient man niyang input, no? Kung natay mga indigenous, for example, kung ka, Mandaya ka, yung balay, kunya pagkaman migrate ka, miadto ka og Canada ba ka or America, nawala na ron ang imuhang heritage language because you migrated from one place to another, no? No, from social environment. If your social environment um mao na karon siya ang nahitabo nga kanang input, language input sa imuha, dito ka na master, dito ka na hasa. Sa pagbisaya ko, madto ko og Manila, si for example, mawala ang ako ang heritage language which I learned at home. Na mawala siya kay mo-adapt man ko karon didto sa bag-o na ko nga language. Pag adapt na ko, so ako ang indigenous, ako ang then may previous language insufficient naman, posible nga mawala siya, mahanaw siya, napulihan siya bag-o, no? That is why kung namoy mga transferi karon nga mga estudyante sa elementary, unsaon ninyo na nagtudlo kag mother tongue, no? Again, you assess now the grassroots. Unsa di ay ang mother tongue aning bataan ni, no? No, it's hard because isolate ang klase sa pagtudlo, ma-isolate. Meaning there is a group of Bisaya, a group for example Bisaya Mandaya, mao to nga madartang imong gamiton. Pag abot karon sa bata nga dili kasabot, i-translate na nimo na ron ang iyahang Tagalog into Bisaya. Kay gusto niya ma-learn og Bisaya. Oh, mag-translate ka. Anong mo translate ka? Kay tungod part naman siya sa society, kani transfer man siya. Gikan man sa Manila padung sa mga lugar sa Bisaya, for example sa Tua. No, it's not necessary now to teach the mother tongue of Filipino. Why? Because the majority of the society, the social environment is majority is Bisaya na. Oh, mahitabo nga heritage language na pud to niya ang iyahang pagka-Tagalog, yang Filipino nga language niya. And then ma-learn na pud ron niya ang bag-o nga language. So that's part of adaptation. That is why Charles Darwin said, in order to survive, one must adapt the environment. So, mag-adapt gid ang bata wa say mahimo for him to survive the language, no? Or survive ang iyang language interaction, broader perspective. So kinahanglan siya mo adapt sa change. Sa change sa iyang kaugalingon and learning the language. So that's heritage language. So what is patay dialect, no? Another term actually is we have this the dialect, no? Yes, adria sa intelligibility. What is dialect? It is a language variety. Variant siya actually, no? May virus, delta siya, delta. In which the use of grammar and vocabulary identifies the regional or social background of the user. The measure for us to know that the language is a language is its intelligibility. Natay term na intelligibility, masabtan ba? Languages in the world are mutually exclusive, meaning they are not mutually intelligible. Unsa ibot pasabot niya? English, language of the world, exclusive siya for what? Foreign American, exclusive siya diha. But because of commercialization, naging universal language siya for commerce and industry. No, world naman siya. This is the language of the world. But language, the English language now is exclusive. Therefore, it cannot be understood by the majority. So for example, a language guy talk to an indigenous person na uneducated siya, for example, di siya masabtan, no? So dialect now, no, two speech forms that are mutually intelligible are dialects, no? Two speech forms. So for example, kung makabantay ka sa Mandaya sa Katiel, Caraga, Buston, Manay, lahi-lahi na siya, lahig tuno, lahig term na uban, but then again, masabtan ra nila. It's a general term for Mandaya. Nasa like common term. No, that's dialect. Huh? For example, a good example of this definition is Tagalog. Ang Tagalog is widely spoken in Bulacan, Metro Manila, Laguna, Cavite, Batangas, and Quezon. You will observe certain variation or difference in their pronunciation, as I've said in Mandaya, accentuation, and even some words, but speakers of these dialects or variation of Tagalog can still understand each other. Example, sa Batangueño, they will say, ay sadya, while in Bulacanyo will say, ay totoo. But they will understand each other. Caviteño will say, parini ka ngang bat aka, while Manileño will take, haliki nga ditong bat aka. Di kayo takasabutan nino. It's our foreign language. No? Sa Mandaya, I don't know, I'm not expert of the Mandaya words, pero kung nakay nahibalan ng mga Mandaya nga words, try to compare that pronunciation, enunciation, accentuation sa Katiel, Baganga, Buston, Manay. Lahi ang ilahang tono, Lahi ang ilang words, but they understand each other. So that becomes now a dialect. Uh, variant siya, variant. Mm, variant siya. The measure for us to know that language is its intelligibility. Meaning, kung magkasinabot ang duha ka language, that's dialect. Variant siya. Again, natay mga things to ponder out of this topic. Self-assessment. You try to answer this on your own. No need for submission, but later on might ask you these questions as part of my assessment in the future. So, what is the difference between acquisition and learning? Abay diferensyan duha. What is the comparison between speech and language? And is language acquisition truth for all children? No? So, these are the things to ponder from this topic. And later on, I will discuss to you the the theories of language acquisition. What are the theories behind language acquisition? So, mo niya tong topic next time. So, I think that is all for today. And see you on my next lesson. Thank you and mabuhay Mindanao. Keep safe.